Hello, it is Monday, November 14th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Monday puzzle today, so we're kicking off the solving week with hopefully something fairly approachable, a themed, approachable crossword, which is very nice. And this themed, approachable edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Lewis Williams, Ryan Eves, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster, the invaluable Timothy Mark, and the indomitable Shoalmaster. So thank you so much to the 5 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support in keeping this channel going. So thank you to them, and if you'd like to join their ranks as a benefactor and get the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug, you can find that at patreon.com/dailysolve or in a link in the description field underneath the video. And of course, that link is also where you can become a patron at any level to get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. And of course, thank you to everybody who has done that. I do very much appreciate it. It keeps this channel going. So thank you to all of the Daily Solve patrons. And also, in a link in the description field underneath the video, you can find how to join the Daily Solve Discord chat server. So the Daily Solve Discord is a nice, fun and welcoming community around solving crosswords and puzzles and Wordle and things like that. And do subscribe to the YouTube channel and tell a friend if you think you know somebody who might like it, like the videos, all that sort of thing. So thank you to everybody who's done any of those. And now let's get on to the puzzle. So this is a Monday crossword, as noted, constructed by Taylor Johnson. This is Taylor Johnson's debut crossword for the New York Times, so we will see what is in store for us today. And it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's start solving. Okay, the A of UAE, that's the United Arab Emirates. So there we go. Coffee tidbit is a bean, a coffee bean, I suppose. And if one consumed no cooked food, one ate raw? Is that a phrase? I don't know if that's a phrase. Watch your blank. Attitude check. Watch your tone, maybe. I mean, this does look like it'll be 8. And at last singer Etta James, the great Etta James, sang the song At Last. And turn clockwise or counterclockwise, so simply rotate. It's sort of an overly descriptive clue. It could just say turn, but I suppose maybe on a Monday the idea is to be so explicit about turn, because turn could also be a noun, and the equivalent of that would be rotation rather than rotate. So I suppose it's just helping us out on this easy Monday morning puzzle. Like a bad day for a picnic, say. A rainy day would be a bad day for a picnic. I guess this is 8 raw. Let's put that in. And after-hours bank convenience would be an ATM, an automated teller machine, cash point, what have you. Warp drive power source on Star Trek. I mean, it looks like antimatter to me. I don't think I knew that, but antimatter, that must be the answer. I mean, I'm just assuming based on the crosses, antim, it seems like it has to be that. And it sounds like a very plausible science fiction sort of thing. I mean, plausible in the context of science fiction. Something unimpressive, slangily. Weak sauce? That's a sort of slang term to refer to something unimpressive. But let's check. I mean, it's almost certainly weak something, but let's check the downs. Word with shaving or sewing is kit, shaving kit, or a sewing kit. Sewing kit, I guess the sewing kit sometimes can refer to a full-size thing or those tiny little ones you get for travel purposes to, I don't know, put a button back on a coat. Polite affirmative in the South. This is probably yes'm, sort of a contraction of yes, ma'am, and I suppose ma'am itself, M-A''am, is also a contraction. So it's sort of a double contraction. Okay, and a polite affirmative. And I guess in the South just means in the southern United States. That's the sort of place you might hear this contraction. Okay, list ending abbreviation would be etc., etc., and we're abbreviating it. 1990s fitness fad using karate moves. Taibo, this was referenced in the crossword, I think, a week or two ago, I think similarly as a 1990s fitness fad, although I don't think that one said any more than that. Some quality cigars, Cuban cigars, are famously high quality. And they get defused in some action films. One hopes time bombs, of course. That looks correct. Okay, Costa Rica, that's straightforward enough. And Bronte and Dickinson for short are Emily's. Emily Bronte and Emily Dickinson, the novelist and poet, respectively. And an Italian mojito garnish. Yeah, I mean, it's clearly basil, but why is it an Italian mojito garnish? So a mojito would have lime typically, right? So I guess I don't know that I'm familiar. Or sorry, I mean mint is what I was trying to say in this context. I don't think I know Italian mojito. I'll have to look that up. Okay, disgusting is it's in quotation marks. So what that suggests is that this answer will also be an exclamation as opposed to a synonym of the word disgusting. It might also be that, but it need not be. And in this case, I think it's not. I think it's maybe the sort of non-verbal exclamation blech. Starting with a BL, but let's check the crosses and see. Stay, please, don't leave. There we go. This looks like say cheese. Oh, no, maybe not. Oh, no, it is. I was looking at the wrong clue. Yes, so smile, say cheese. And again, this is in quotation marks, so the answer will also be an exclamation. And of course, say cheese is not literally a synonym of smile, but it means the same thing when exclaimed. Okay, sailor's hello is ahoy. And Dexter Error, for short, is Showtime, the television network. Sidekick of Mario and Luigi is Yoshi, the animal that Mario rides in the Super Mario games. And largest hot desert in the world is the Sahara Desert. There we go. And a life-saving device for one with severe allergies could be an EpiPen. All right, this is all going well. Oh, and look at this. We've cut a nice diagonal swath through the puzzle. Okay, to make a midday snooze is to take a midday snooze rather is to nap, and image captured with Shift Command 3 on a Mac. Boy, that's not a very intuitive shortcut, is it? Anyway, it must be a screenshot just based on the fill there. And the sound of a fly swatter would be a whap, I guess. That looks plausible. And birds that can twist their heads almost 360 degrees. Wow. Owls. I mean, you often see video of owls twisting their heads. I didn't know almost 360 degrees. That's astonishing. Tales passed down through the generations. Oh, I spelled EpiPen incorrectly because this looks like the woman's name Lori, but in fact should be Lore. Tales passed through the generations. So right, I spelled EpiPin for some reason. And a big fan in modern lingo is a stan, taken from the Eminem song of the same name. Okay, Rocks, Joan Blank, and the Blackhearts. That's Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, her band. And what choosy moms choose according to ads. Oh, that's funny. This was in the crossword, I think yesterday or the day before. Jif, the brand of peanut butter. So there we go. Two Jifs in close proximity. And wrath would be ire, anger. And the Obama era, 2009 to 2017, the years during which he served as president. And North Dakota City, that's the title of a Coen Brothers film, Fargo, just one of the great films, I think. And You'd Better Believe It. You'd Better Believe It. I'm not sure. Many a TikTok user informally, a Gen Zer probably. It looks like Gen Zer in the clue like that. Frittata ingredient would be an egg, of course. It's a primary ingredient in a frittata. You'd better believe it. Oh, dogma. Right, okay, so this is a sort of clue. I don't know that we've encountered very many of these recently. So this category of clue that's not a quotation, it's not an exclamation in quotation marks, but does have an exclamation mark at the end. Usually, what this means is it's slightly punny, and the exclamation mark means we're declaring this about the clue as opposed to defining the clue. So we're not saying a sort of an article of faith or something, which is what is implied by you'd better believe it. We're saying about dogma, you'd better believe it. And it's just a bit of a jokey way to clue an answer. But when you see that exclamation point, that's what that means. It's being said about the answer. So, and often in a jokey manner. Revolutionary maneuver in sports or breakdancing. Spin something? A spin move, maybe? Just generically? Yeah, that could be it. Let's check the crosses. A petty fight could be a spat. They were involved in a petty fight, a spat. A little clump on a sweater could be a pearl of wool, for instance. Preppy clothing brand. I'm not sure. What about this? Social event. Social event hinted by the ends of 1828 at 48 across. Oh, it's a pizza party. Oh, I guess it's not a pearl. Is it a pile? But anyway, pizza party, because look at that. We have cheese sauce. Will this include crust? Yes, high society metaphorically is the upper crust. There we go. So let's just finish this off. Ingredient in some skincare products, of course, that is the official New York Times medicinal plant, aloe. And here's a brief summary in internet speak. Oh no, this is PILL. Boy, this was just repeated mistakes on my part. So anyway, the little clump on a sweater. And then here's a brief summary in internet speak is TLDR. Too long, didn't read. Oh, right. And the preppy clothing brand is Izod. Okay, they make polo shirts and so forth, I guess. Okay, so self-absorbed is vain. And Gaelic language is Erse. So Gaelic language. Brewed beverage is tea, of course. Tea is brewed. And fashion monogram is YSL for Yves Saint Laurent, the famous fashion designer and fashion mark. The big podcast with Shaq host. Well, I mean, I think that would probably be Shaq himself, Shaquille O'Neal. And start getting paid as an athlete is to go pro, to become professional. And Hemingway's The Sun Also Rises as a novel. Okay, the A of BA. I think there are a few things BA can stand for, but one is Bachelor of Arts, and I suspect that's the one in question here. So Pennsylvania in DC, abbreviation, Pennsylvania Avenue, look at that. It's right under Obama, so presidential reference, Pennsylvania Avenue, the street on which the White House is located. So there we go. The A of BA, oh, right, arts, we said that. And letters spelled out with rocks on a desert island in cartoons would be SOS, the distress call. Initialism. I don't know what was so challenging about that. A pigeon sound is coo, pigeons coo. And one in nursery school is a tot, a small child. Finest efforts are give it your best, give it your finest effort. So bests. And black card suit is clubs. Clubs is one of the card suits that is black. Center of activity is a hub of activity. And to change from Jason into a Power Ranger, say, well, they were the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So I guess Jason I wonder which one that was, Jason. Because they all had a unique color, right? So, yeah. Okay, it's funny that they specify Jason, but they don't specify the Power Ranger. Anyway, doesn't particularly matter. West Coast NFL player informally is what? Baton Rouge School would be LSU, Louisiana State University, I think. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So this could be LA. Oh, LA Ram. The LA Rams, that's a team. So does that work? Swiss Peak? Yes, could be an Alp. We've had Alps a few times recently as well. And jump blank, double Dutch equivalent would be jump rope. Double Dutch when you have two jump ropes simultaneously. And an alternative to Visa or MasterCard informally would be Amex, American Express. I guess the sort of next largest credit card processing network. And I didn't see this. So playback option in brief is slow-mo. You could play back, a sports recap or something in slow motion. Okay, blows up is explodes, detonates, literally or metaphorically, I suppose. And flashing light at a concert is a strobe light. Very quick flash. And dull sound of impact is a thud. To slide into is to ease into. And finally, mental resourcefulness is wits, although actually I guess we have two more crosses. So a hearty one-pot meal would be a stew, and cuisine with Tom Yum Gai would be Thai cuisine. And is that it? It is. So that is the Monday puzzle. Let's admire it. A nice, simple theme today. Not, well, actually interesting. Yes, we did, to solve the revealer, we actually did need to have solved the other three clues. Sometimes with these revealers, it would say something like, I don't know, a school child's social event, or something hinted at by the ends of blah, blah, blah. But no, here it just gave us social event, which was enough here, I think, given the crosses. But it does rely on having solved the theme, which combined upper crust, weak sauce, and say cheese to make a pizza party. I would say pizza party of varying quality, because we have the upper crust but only weak sauce. Which is more critical, the sauce or the crust on a pizza? I suppose that comes down to the eater. Anyway, that is the crossword today. A nice, simple Monday puzzle with a nice, simple theme to ease us into the solving week. There we have it. I hope you enjoyed. So, for the first time in several days, I have time to review some clues from yesterday's crossword. So let's take that opportunity, finally. Monkey Flower explains a water spout is just what a tornado is called when it's over water. Meteorologically, they're the same thing. Okay, I didn't know that. So there we go, a water spout, a tornado over water. And Andrew Postnikoff explains that tapir probosces are actually considered trunks. I didn't know they were called trunks, a tapir trunk. They might be shorter than an elephant's, but they are similar in use and form. Anteaters have a very different facial structure. Unlike tapirs, their long faces are built along their elongated and toothless jaws and nasal bones. Wow. Their skull goes the whole length of their rostrum. I had no idea. That is fascinating. I need to look up anteater skulls, I suppose, or anteater full skeletons. So thank you for that information, Andrew. Stephen Giblin points out that I never went back to the clue 95A, producer of multiple outs for short, which was DPS or DPs. I have to wonder if Chris would have gotten the baseball reference to double plays. I don't know if I would have or not. I mean, that DPs, that means nothing to me in that context. I wouldn't have recognized that as double plays. The first thing that comes to mind, I guess, would be directors of photography, but I producer of multiple outs. I don't know. It's hard to say if I would have gotten it or not. Wouldn't have been obvious to me. Garrett Kitchings explains that in relation to 31 Down, there's a company called Edison Future that makes solar-powered electric vehicles. They currently are taking reservations for a pickup truck and delivery van, but don't seem to be near production. Definitely not as successful as Tesla, but there is an Edison car manufacturer. That's interesting. So there may be an Edison car manufacturer, but it sounds as though there are still no Edison cars. So I guess the clue at time of publication, which is all that really matters, was still correct, that there are Tesla cars, but not Edison cars. Obviously, in the future, that might someday be wrong, but that's always how it goes with the crossword, so no worries. And Any Prophet explains the Gibson cocktail is just a martini with an onion garnish. There's no other difference between the classic versions of the drinks. So there we go. I was right to think that a Gibson was related to a martini, but even more so than I remembered. It simply is one with a different garnish. And finally, Nix Hicks points out that astrobiology and the related field of exobiology is an interdisciplinary scientific field that studies the origins, early evolution, distribution, and future of life in the universe. This is pretty interesting. And that involves, apparently, study of things like extremophiles, organisms that survive in incredibly extreme environments like the Marianas Trench. Because I suppose the thinking is, well, maybe that's the kind of life maybe that would be the first sort of life we might encounter on other planets like Mars, and could also suggest ways in which life could actually survive, I suppose, passing through the vacuum of space, because that would be, of course, arguably one of the most extreme environments. So anyway, yeah, very, very interesting astrobiology. And there we have it. That's all. I think there might have been a couple of more really detailed notes, but I don't think any other big corrections. So that's that for today's clues, today's puzzle, and today's video. I'll be back tomorrow for the Tuesday crossword. It should be another simple, approachable, themed puzzle. Join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Monday. Take care.